Hi everyone, welcome back to Dance Geek and welcome to my new studio. I built this studio for myself, fitted it out in the last week. For future people watching this, have a look at the date. April 2020, we're in Corona lockdown. And yeah, so I thought this is the perfect opportunity. I've got all this time on my hand, I'm teaching classes from home. This is the perfect opportunity to build my dance studio / YouTube studio that I've been wanting to do for years. It's only a small space, but I love it. Still got a few finishing touches to do, but it's yeah, it's working really well. I taught my first classes from here last night. Previously to that, the week before that, I taught classes in my living room. That was not fun, but it worked. It still worked. Now this video, as you can see by the title, is about how to use Zoom from an audio perspective for your dance classes. Now, I'm not an expert on how to use Zoom and I'm not an expert on the audio functions of Zoom, but I have been working on it a lot lately, and as most of you know, my dad is a live theatre sound and lighting tech. Live theatre is different to online sound, so you know his skill set is not exactly the same, but we've had enough knowledge that we can work through a lot of it. My number one tip to dance teachers or fitness teachers, anybody who is using Zoom for anything physical class related with music and with your voice, my number one tip, please remember that is not what Zoom was built for. And that is where you need to start out, because there are going to be times where you're going to be looking for a solution that's just not built into Zoom's capabilities. When people set out to create a piece of software or a program or anything like that, they have certain objectives that they need to or they want to reach. So they think about, why are we making this? Zoom was made first and foremost for conferencing meetings. So when they're developing the program, when they developed Zoom, they were thinking about what can you do and what do you need to do in a face-to-face meeting or conference, and now let's try and replicate that within the Zoom meeting function. So sharing slides, showing visual aids is a huge part of meetings. From an audio perspective though, you don't really ever need, like if you think back to lectures you've been in as a uni student, if you think back to like just normal work meetings, even dance related work meetings, audio wise, you only ever really need to hear the person speaking. That's it. Which is why there's the function in there to include a microphone, which I highly recommend you do, and we'll get to that later. But that microphone, they were never intended for that microphone to have to speak over music. Because, as I've said, Zoom was never intended to be a dance class online learning tool. So we're just doing our best with what we've got. My second tip, turn off the following features. There are certain features within Zoom that are automatically on, and you want to turn off those features. So we'll go through those now and how to do it. The reason I want you to do this is because what Zoom does, and this, the easiest way I can explain it, is Zoom tries to isolate a voice, and it tries to isolate the loudest voice. So if you have music playing and your voice over it, Zoom gets confused. So when I was testing all of this, I was playing Beyonce, and I had my family and friends and a housemate in another room, and the thing was, can you hear Beyonce or can you hear me? Can you hear Beyonce or can you hear me? And Zoom was like, I don't know, Beyonce, yeah. Okay, now the answer to that is you should always hear Beyonce over everybody else. But within a dance class, you need to hear both. So the way Zoom does this is it tries to block out all of the background noise, things like just ambient noise. At the moment, I can hear in this room, I can hear the wind rustling the trees outside, the birds chirping from the little nest that's on the top of the garage, which is where my studio is. The microphone I use to do these videos filters out a lot of that noise. If you have that feature enabled, when you're trying to have music playing and your voice, Zoom is going to think, which one's quieter and just getting in the way and being annoying background noise. Oh, her voice is lower. Let's get rid of that. So what you want to do is disable these features. In the bottom left-hand corner, click on the arrow next to the microphone, the icon of the microphone, and you're going into audio settings. This is where you can test your microphone and your speaker if you need to, just to see that they're actually working. But you're going to go into advanced, and on these two options here, sorry, this top one, click that, make sure that's selected. Then you want to disable these two suppress options. So you're suppressing the background noise and intermittent background noise. Make sure they're both disabled. Leave that third echo cancellation, just leave that on auto. It doesn't seem to have much of an effect. In my experience, once you've disabled these on your device, they will stay disabled no matter what account you're logged into on Zoom. But it's always good to just check them when you start a class or the first class of your night. Just check, make sure they're still disabled. Wherever possible, use an external radio mic or microphone of some kind. This can be tricky because microphones cost money to purchase if you don't already have them, or in my case, if you don't have a dad who can just give you one from his stash of equipment.
Hey Daddy, I want an Oompa Loompa. I want you to get me an Oompa Loompa right away.
But it's also, at the moment, it's hard to get to shops. We're not supposed to be going unless it's for essentials. You can order it to come, but shipping most of the time is really slow. It can be a bit of a debacle. The other problem is, I've heard of some teachers, some of the teachers I work with, having quite good good response using an external mic that sits on their desk. I'll insert a couple of pictures. These sorts of ones, they're like a USB mic. It's similar to what I'm using now. The one I'm using now with this video is quite an expensive one, and it's used for, pardon me, it's used specifically for this kind of sitting here chatting. I'm about, I don't know, 60 centimeters away from the microphone at the moment. It will pick me up quite clearly if I'm even further back, but it's not, again, its purpose is not to be heard over music. That's where you need a microphone, a wireless radio microphone or wireless microphone of some kind. Now I use the ones that we use in the theatre with a pack. I put the mic pack on my back, and I have a little lapel clip. You can get these as headset ones as well. You can get cheap versions of this, but the theatre ones are not, again, the theatre ones are not made to be used in a small studio, so I had to get extra equipment to connect it to my computer, all that sort of stuff. So I will put the specs in here. If you want to go all out and buy exactly what I'm using, then here are the specs. But basically I have the pack and the little microphone, which then sends the signal to the receiver, and that you buy as one. You can buy them as a set. That receiver, I then have that plugged into a codec, a USB codec, which means I can send the sound of my voice from the receiver through the codec into a USB cable that plugs into my laptop. Zoom is really, really good at picking up external equipment. Really good. I have not had any problems, and I tried so many different microphones, and it just picked them up straight away, because when they created it, they expected that people would use a microphone at times. Sometimes that microphone might be a conference phone thing. Sometimes it might be when you're in a lecture and you are using some kind of like lecture mic or something like that. So having the ability to work with a microphone was something they did put into the Zoom capabilities. So that's what we're going to try and capitalize on. So here's some little step-by-step of how to get the mic to work. From your Zoom dashboard, go into your settings. This can all be done in the actual meeting as well. we're going to go into audio. I was talking about it before. This is where we were when we were in our meeting and we went in to change those settings in advance. They are here. So you can do this from your settings tab as well. And we're going to go back though. All right, so we're going to test, first of all, the speaker. At the moment, mine's coming through Realtek Audio, which is my computer. But here it's got all of the other ones that I have used before, well, some of them. Yeah, so I'm going to test the speaker. And it played a little sound. If I can hear it, that's great. You can turn that up. Yay. Now testing the microphone. Yeah, okay, we stop it. Yeah, so you're stopping it. Testing your mic. Now, I can already tell my mic is working. Definitely. Well done. Very good. If you take the automatically adjust volume off, it will allow you to move the volume of the microphone up and down. However, putting it all the way up to the top is not necessarily going to be the best idea, depending on your voice. I'm sitting quite close to my microphone. This is the Shure one that I use for filming when I'm sitting close to something. If you want to use a desktop microphone like this one, so it sits on the desktop and you're going to be far away from it, what I recommend in testing this is put the volume here. So unclick or uncheck automatically adjust volume so that you can manually adjust it. Put the volume all the way up and then have a look at these bars. When I'm sitting here, my voice for the most part, this is just my normal speaking voice. I'm a loud person. It's going above the halfway point most of the time. When I move away, so I'm getting, you can't see it, but I'm getting up off the chair. And I'm standing now in my studio space where I would normally be. Now I'm still quite loud, but my mic is not picking me up as much and I can see that meter going, but it's not going all the way. It's only getting sometimes when I make a rounded vowel sound, is it getting to that halfway point. So this is why those desktop mics are not always the best option. Now I'm sitting back down again, and we're going to test the microphone. So we click test mic. This is just to see if it's actually working. So we're speaking into the microphone. It records me as it says there, recording, recording, recording.
So we're speaking into the microphone. It records me as it says there, recording, recording, recording.
Yeah, so that's got my microphone. It's working. I did not have to type anything in to tell Zoom to find that microphone. When I plugged it into my computer, Zoom picked up what it was. It also picks up the other microphones that I have used, which, yay, very good. Well done, Zoom. If you just cannot use an external mic, a USB connected mic or a wireless mic of some kind, and you're relying on the mic from your device, so where you're running Zoom from, then this next tip is absolutely crucial. What you want to do is you want to have your music playing on a separate input to your voice. If you play so just say scenario, you are running Zoom on your laptop. Your laptop has a webcam and a microphone built into its hardware capabilities. And you're going to play your music from your phone and have that running through a Bluetooth speaker to make it a bit louder. The way your students will hear that music in Zoom is the music will go from the Bluetooth speaker into the mic on your laptop, as will your voice. So even with those settings we talked about in previous tip, even with those settings disabled, it will still have your voice and the music coming through on the same line, which means you don't really have a lot of control over how those two are separated. Especially if you're playing the music quite loud through your Bluetooth speaker. So what you want to do is try to get those running on a separate line. Now Zoom has a built-in feature that allows you to do this, and it's really easy. All right, so when you're in a new meeting, wow, I look a bit crazy today. When you're in a new meeting, You are going to go to this one here, share screen. Click on advanced up here. And then click this option here, music or computer sound only. Click that and click share. Now you can go into your music. So I use Google Play Music. And then when I play whatever music I want, I'll do some ballet music because yay. Students will still see whatever I'm doing. They'll still see me. It's not like when you share your screen. It's in the share screens feature, but it's not that actual screen that's sharing. As it tells you up there, as it tells you up here, you're sharing computer sound. That's it. Now, you still don't have a hell of a lot of control over the levels there. So you're going to need to moderate your voice when you're teaching. But let's face it, we do this anyway as dance teachers. I've often thought, why don't we dance teachers have microphones on like a lot of fitness instructors do, especially the ones doing the big high energy, loud music aerobic classes, but we don't have those headset microphones unless you're in a big convention. So when you're in the studio and the music is on, you moderate your voice anyway. You have to speak louder if the music was on. Why this is so difficult for us in this current climate using Zoom is because most of the time we don't feel like we need to moderate our voice because it's just us in a little room and the music's just playing through our computer or something. So you don't really feel like you need to talk louder. So we just need to shift our thinking a little bit and really project our voices. Project that voice out and speak from the diaphragm. So really use the lower part of your chest, lower part of your rib cage, and project your voice out over the top, clearly over the top of the music, because we do that in the studio anyway, otherwise our students can't hear us. So just make sure you are actually still moderating your voice, and remember that that's not something new. It's something that dance teachers do in the studio anyway. So you've just got to pretend that you're in the studio, that the music is loud, and pump it up a bit. Once you've got it running through the once you've got it running through Zoom on that share audio, share screen option, you can make it louder in your environment that you're teaching in, so that you then have to talk over it. Now, I did a bit of research. I don't know much about this because I'm not a Mac user anymore, but you can apparently use Airpods as a speaker, but to hear your music, but you can also use them as a microphone. Now, any wireless headphones should work through Zoom as a microphone. You've just got to tell Zoom that that's the microphone you want to use. But like I said, I can't really help you troubleshoot how to use them because I don't have wireless headphones myself to try this out with. It's one of the few pieces of tech I didn't have in order to do this. But there is lots of information about it online. Especially now that everybody in so many industries are using Zoom. There's a lot of information out there about how to use your wireless headphones as a microphone whilst you're running meetings or classes. Now, hopefully this video has helped you to figure out how to use Zoom a little bit more effectively for a dance class. Like I said in my first tip, this is not what Zoom was made for. Everything in the world at the moment is just trying to do its best to adapt to the current situation. And we need to do that as well with our technology. I am always available to help out if I can. I love tech. It's one of the geek things about me. I love techie stuff. Always have. Sorry, I'm still sitting on my foam roller. And yeah, so if I can help in any way, I will do my utmost best to help you out with it. This is Editing Claire. My daddy-o Haywood, Paul Haywood, has actually offered to also help out anybody who needs it. So I've put his details in the description box. So if you need some help with your tech, the sound
parts of it, please contact him and he will help you out too.
But I love what I'm seeing in the dance community worldwide, that people are sharing things for free, that people are helping each other to keep their businesses and their studios viable, and that we're still working to share our love of dance, because it's in times like this that we need it more than ever. So please stay safe, please stay calm, wash your hands, wash those jazz hands, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.